zeros or to factor. Okay. So if you're given, there's some ways to use it. Okay, let's say you're given cubic like this. Okay, like number 2. Let's see there. And you're asked to find the zeros being honest, in everyday life, things are not perfect, fun, nice quadratics that are factorable, unfortunately. Okay. You can jump off a building if there's no wind. If gravity's acting perfectly, you can model that with a quadratic, like we did 37. But most things do not come out nice and pretty. So we have to be able to work with equations that are different than quadratics. Okay. So find the zeros of a cubic. If I just threw that on the board, what would you do?
I would skip it.
I would skip it. That's the honest answer. I would grab a calculator and I would punch it in. You remember how to calculate zeros on a calculator?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so that's one option if you have a calculator or a computer device available. Okay? Otherwise, that's a very difficult problem. Okay? You're basically looking to guess and check zeros. Okay, so if I told you, all right, if I asked you 3 is 3 a 0? Do you remember how you can check that?
Plug it in.
Yeah, evaluate. Mathematically language, right?
I do it if you put that.
So f at 3 is 7 minus 9, 42. Does that equal 18 minus 42, 0? Yeah, so yeah, check, boom, right? You can verify very easily that 3 is a 0 that way, right? Does it tell me anything else?
No.
It does not. Synthetic division will tell me more. Okay, so if I use synthetic division, so I know, so this has told me now x minus 3 is a factor of that. So we've just kind of roundabout factored, right? Just by finding a 0. If I use synthetic division, I can find the other factor. And it will be a quadratic, and then I can work with the quadratic. Okay, so synthetic division gives you the other factor. Okay. Does that make sense? So if you know a 0, you know a factor of the function. So this is going to be x minus 3 times something. Synthetic division will give you that other something. Okay. How do I do synthetic division? So the 0 goes here, right? If you have, so sometimes you're given this factor, it's always the opposite there, right? You actually use the zeros. Okay.
And then you put 1, negative 1, negative 14.
1, negative 1, negative 14, and 24, right?
And then you bring down the 1 each one times 3.
Division, bring the 1 down, and then this is going to be a dividing line. Okay, your setup, are we Okay with that? Okay, what's the process? Combine this. 3 times 1, right? And what do you do with those two numbers? Add or subtract? What'd you say?
I said the answer would be positive 2, put them together.
You add.
Plus,
Okay, so 2. Then what?
3 times
let's
2
do
is
like this.
6. And we get, and we do the same thing again. 4, and that's negative 0. Okay. All right, so remainder is 0. That will tell us that 3 is a 0. Okay, it verifies. It also tells you that x minus 3 is a factor. You see how all these things are lining up nicely. Okay. What does this give us? Yeah, this is our other factor.
Give it all this stuff back.
X squared plus, let's see. You understand why it's x squared?
Yeah.
Because you've taken a factor out.
Oh, and with the x cubed.
So we started with x cubed, we take an x out, we end up with x squared. Okay, so this function is x minus 3 times x squared plus 2x minus 8. There are some methods. That's the rational root theorem. It's a, like I said, it's not necessary.
So you just want us to get some check?
No, you're going to be given that.
Oh.
So yeah, so I kind of led you through this. This number or this factor is usually going to be given to you like, for now, so you don't have to worry about it. If it's not, what's the calculator that you would want to go to? But the calculator is going to give you all your zeros right away, right? So it's pretty mandatory. It's pretty much necessary if you don't have whole numbers. I'm not teaching you the rational roots theorem and things like that. So, okay. So we have x minus 3. And can you factor that?
Sure.
Step up.
It's 2, 4, and 2.
Negative 1.
Negative 4, positive 2. No, or the other one.
There you go. And our zeros are
Fear of public speaking. Negative
3,
3, negative
negative 4,
and
negative 2.
negative 4, 2,
There you go. Using synthetic division to your advantage if you know a zero or a factor. Synthetic division is, so have any of you ever been subject to long division of polynomials?
That's a subject.
You've done it? Yeah. This is a substitute, so this is an FYI, I'm not going to make you do it. This here is a substitute for doing this problem. Long division with polynomials.
I saw it like that.
Okay. This is a lot easier.
Could you take me faster?
Okay. If you want, you can learn that. I don't care. It'd be awesome to see someone learn it, but this is much easier, so that's why we use it. Okay.
What does the beginning of that black bottom line say? Like equals 3 or something?
This, this here, have you ever seen that?
No.
Okay, that means implies. Okay, so the remainder of 0 implies 3 is a 0 or x minus 3 is a factor. So that's what it tells us.
Oh.
It's like an if-then statement. If you have a remainder of 0, then 3 is a 0 or a factor of x minus 3. Little things that you learn that become habit. This does make taking notes a little easier if you want shorthand. Do you want me to show you another one?
Yes.
Yeah, do a harder one.
Yes.
There are,
One that's different.
like this is the worksheet I'm gonna ask you to do. It's like number 1,
Do
and
3.
then
Are there any that have?
they're all this, like, so check this one out. Number 3, it's a quartic, right? But when you're factoring, you always look for a greatest common factor first. Can I take something out?
Yeah.
An x, right? So when I take an x out, it makes this a cubic, and now it's the same problem we just did.
Where would you put the x that you took back there? On the outside?
So, let me just do this. Okay. To start factoring this, bring an x out.
Okay.
Now what's one of your zeros? X equals 0 is a 0. Right, you automatically have one of your zeros. And then you can use synthetic division. I think we have x minus 3. Let's use synthetic division to simplify that down to a quadratic, just like we just did, and then factor that. Does that make sense? Same stuff. So number 7. Okay, how do you deal with that? So if you're given this right here, what do you put in your synthetic division?
You put the reciprocal, so.
What makes that 0?
2 divided by
0 is 1. Negative 1/5. If I put negative 1/5 in here, I get 0, correct? So when I do synthetic division, negative 1/5 is my number for the bracket, the top left corner.
And not what?
No.
So on that one too, it'll be the same.
So
What do you do?
you want me to write one of these out?
Yes.
There's your factor. Make sure we're good. Oh, 30. Good. So what that's telling you is, so 5x plus 3 equals 0, so x is negative 3/5 is your 0. So when you do synthetic division, that's your number.
Oh, you don't, it's negative stuff?
Yeah, it is the 0.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you were using the actual number, use it. And then you'd set up the same as we have done. And you're gonna have some fractions to deal with, obviously.
Oh.
But you should have a remainder of 0. If you do that.
Should all of them?
The nice thing is, all these are, well, we have some divisible by 5, right? So the fractions will disappear when we start multiplying. So this is 25.
Negative 15.
Yeah, you get negative 15 here. And you get 135. 7 divided by 2, that's actually negative 9. Is that right? I don't think it's right.
You're right, Mr.
It is?
Yeah.
Continue. 366, that's not going to give us a nice number. For some reason. Think about that. What do the directions say? Factor each and find all zeros. One factor has been given. Did I write it out correct?
Yeah.
51, 31, 30. Guess what? Did I make a mistake?
Shouldn't negative 9, shouldn't that be just
Yeah,
negative 81?
it's negative 81.
Yeah.
Negative 9.
Because,
Oh, there you go. Do the math there. So that should be 50. Now it works.
Yeah, 350.
Hey, good job. My alarm bells were going off, so.
What's going on?
So you think you can handle synthetic division?
Yeah.
Finding zeros, you're gonna be doing a lot of quadratic factoring still, so you get some good practice.
Without worksheet.
you're going to have plenty of time to work on it.
10 to 15 minutes at least. So all I'm asking you to do on the worksheet is 1, 7, 9, 13, 17. The answers are online. They're there. Okay, so show your work to get credit, right? And then some spiraling. From the book.
Oh.
When is it due?
Are they all different?
You have 12 problems. Yeah, tomorrow.
When do they do?
Well,
I'll stop going.
I have to do yours tomorrow.
So we're gonna get the number and we like
Oh, so then it's really math, and then
Jimmy is writing on these boards.
Hey, Joel, do you need glasses? Don't be like that.
I lift the pen a little bit and sometimes it doesn't right. So it's like
Those are all very easy.
precious.
Don't be like that.
Those 1/5.